What is happening, guys? We are here, waiting for the DLC. I just wanted to get on here and ask you, though, are you ready for the DLC? Because, you know, if you're like me, we're going in with no spoilers. I have avoided spoilers for this DLC like crazy. I even deleted social media for a couple weeks when those when the streamers first got the release and they were able to play like 3 hours. I didn't want to see anything, so I went dark for a couple weeks and just completely blacked out the internet. And I'm so glad I did, because I'm going in with nothing. I know nothing about this DLC other than what the trailers have given me. I've watched the trailers, of course, because obviously, you know, the trailers are pretty epic. But when we touch that hand and we go into that next world, or if we go back in time, or I don't even know how the story plays. I don't know if we go back in time or if we get transferred to another world completely. I don't know any of that. So it's going to be a completely new experience. But I wanted to get on here, though, and make a little video, though, before the DLC and just talk about my plan. My plan about how I am going into this DLC. So I am taking my level 200 character into this DLC. This is the character that I platinumed the game with. This is the character that I have all my mule accounts based on, like all my other builds accounts. This is the mule character that I based all those other builds on. This is the big dog. This is the guy who beat everything, conquered everything, got the platinum, you know, and this is my faith strength build. This is my favorite build in the entire game. This is level 200 build, 60 vigor, 30 mind, 30 endurance, 60 strength, 20 dexterity, 9 intelligence, 50 faith, and 20 arcane. And we do not have a great rune active at the moment. The reason we do not have a great rune active at the moment is because I wanted this character to be this much of a hoss without the great rune, just in case we get to a point where the great runes aren't viable. I mean, we don't even know if the great runes are going to work in this other world. So I see a lot of people talking about what great rune to bring. We don't even know if the great runes are going to work. Obviously, I have them if I want to use them, and I have plenty of rune arcs to use. I have 36 rune arcs, so I have a good amount, and I should probably farm more of those, but we don't even know if they're going to be viable. So when you're looking at your character, build your character out without a great rune. I highly recommend that. As you see, even without a great rune, on my strength weapon, we have, you know, almost 1,000 attack, 940. I mean, I recommend definitely having something that's going to be hitting hard, because we know this DLC is going to be hard. We know there's going to be some 3-phase bosses in this DLC. We know it's going to test our limits. These are the creators of Sekiro, so we must be ready. So let's talk about this build that I have. So like I said, this is a faith strength build. My main weapon is going to be this dog right here, Malekith's blade. And also with that, I have Malekith's outfit. Other than the hood. The hood, I'm actually using the Sandroid Noble hood. I just feel like this looks epic. I feel like this guy is conquered, and he's Elden Lord, and he's ready to begin a new journey. I love the look of this dude. So I have 2 weapons here on this character, actually, and we're going to talk about this here, my plan here. So yes, this is a strength faith build, but with that, I have many options that I can do, and each one of these options is selected for a different scenario. And these weapons are all level 24. So not 25, but 24, a good mix up there. But my main, like I said, my main weapon, though, is going to be my Malekith's Black Blade plus 10. This is going to be the main hoss for this DLC. This is just one of my favorite weapons of the game. This thing hits like a truck. I mean, when we're powered, when we have Golden Vow going, and when we're 2-arming this sword without any other buffs on, this sword is getting 1152 attack power. This thing's an absolute hoss, and it's super fun to use. So this is going to be my main way of playing. With that, though, like I said, we are faith. So with faith, we are using the Erd Tree Seal plus 9. That's, I feel like, the best scaling, or I'd say that's the best one in the game, in my opinion, for most of your cases. Obviously, we have this for Dragon Communion Seals if we really want to make the best out of that, so I have that also plus 9 that I can switch to if I need to. But most of our stuff is going to be running off that. So if we look at our spells, this is my loadout. So I have Flame Cleanse Me. We know there's going to be a Poison Swamp. We know there's going to be Rot. We know all that's going to be in there. So I have this. I can pop this, eliminate any status effect on me between Poison and Rot. I think that's just a fantastic one to have. If we look next, I have Black Blade. This is just an all-around, you know, if I want to take out percentage-based percentage-based attack on an enemy or a boss. If a boss is really tanky, I can use that to actually take percentages off his health instead of just health markers. So I feel like that's a great one to have. Giant's Flame Take VD. I love this spell. This is such a fun one. Boom! This thing hits, and the explosion, the impact on that just is such a good crowd takeout. I mean, you can use this to lure enemies if you just want to tap it out there. If you wanted to charge it up and throw it big, I mean, you can just tap it and throw it. It's just an all-around fantastic spell to have. Next is my Frenzied Burst. I have this on here just in case there's enemies. There's no other spell in the game or incantation in the game that can be a ranged attack for like a snipe. So this thing is really cool because I can snipe super long distance. That actually hits enemies way out. So if I'm trying to lure something to me that's by a bunch of enemies in the DLC, I want to be able to do that. This spell is perfect for being able to do that. The distance on that is way farther than you think. You can snipe enemies from a long distance with that, so I have that with me. Fortis X Lightning Spear. This is my favorite spear in the game because of the poise they added in one of the updates. This used to not poise through enemy attacks. Now this poises through enemy attacks. So as long as you get one of those off, the other enemies can be hitting you, and you can launch that off, and you can still get both those off and just absolutely destroy everything. It's such a fun one to have. Obviously, we have Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike because there might be instances where we need a crowd clear, and this is that crowd clear. This is just going to clear the path if we need anything to clear a path for us. And obviously, then we have one dragon spell on here. So this can be interchangeable. I have all the dragon spells, obviously. If we come across something weak to ice that we want to use ice on, we have ice we can use on it. Obviously, we have all the other ones too that we have. We go into our memorize spells. If we want to use rod on something, we got that. You name it, we got the situation to do it. Even if we wanted to use Plastiduke's Ruin. The thing is, this thing takes 3 slots though, so this is not the most viable, but we have it if we need it. With that, I don't think there's going to be many other spells we're going to be switching to. I mean, obviously we can if we need to. I mean, we have a good variety. Burno Flame, that's a fantastic one I thought about putting on here. I'm shocked that it only uses 1 slot because that's actually a super powerful boss melter. So those are the spells and those are the incantations that we're going to be using here through this playthrough. So let's talk about my other choices here for weapons. So I saw all those other weapons I had. Let's talk about different scenarios for these weapons. So the cool thing about this build is I have enough endurance to be able to use 2 swords on one side at once. So for instance, if I wanted to have this sword and also say the Gargoyle's Greatsword, I can do that with this build. And like for instances where I just need a fast attack, I can easily take out enemies. And then let's say if oops, not the Gargoyles, this is the one that I had matched. Actually, no, one of these swords I can use, I know, with... Oh, that's weird. Okay, I gotta redo that then. I gotta respec and do that. I gotta fix that because I want to be able to use... I know with the Rune Arc I'll be able to use it, but I should be able to... I thought I had this the other day when I was on this character. That's weird. But I want to be able to have a medium roll with 2 swords. So I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna bump up my endurance some on this character. And we're gonna fix that, so we have that. But yeah, like I said, probably another one I'll be using is a katana. I mean, I'm a huge fan of katanas in this game. Being able to use, you know, if I need to whip up a big sword for an enemy, I can pull that out. If I need to pull out a katana, I can pull that out. The point is to see, okay, that I can use a katana and a big sword, but I apparently cannot use a giant. That's weird. I thought I had this set up so I could use a. Oh, I know why. I know why. Because I had 2... I think that's why. Yep, that's why. I had 3 swords on it, not 2. So now, yeah, okay, I do have this set up right. So for me, you know, if I'm in an instance where I just need to fast attack, you know, quicker attacks, I can use a great sword. And if I want to bonk things, I can pull out my bonk sword. I can switch easy on the fly there. And the cool thing is here, I can switch even if I wanted to between a couple things here. I have quite a few options for instances that I need. And I went through and I applied, and I recommend you guys do this too. Put different Ashes of War on what you can for different situations. So for instance, I have a great sword right here that I have paired here with Lion's Claw. Lion's Claw is one of the best ashes in the game. This thing just hits like a tank. It's fast. It always gets off. It's an amazing Ash of War to have. I recommend having that one. I recommend having Flaming Strike. Flaming Strike is an awesome one to have. This is a very good Ash of War. Let's see. So the Inseparable Sword I have here. The reason I have this sword is because we don't know if we're going to come into instances with like death, if we're going to be adversing anything that's death, like skeletons or anything. This will be able to kill all those skeletons without using Sacred Blade, you know, obviously, because this thing naturally has Sacred Blade built into it, but even without it, it still kills all the skeletons, so I wanted to have that option on me as well. I do have Blasphemous Blade. I don't plan on really using this too much, just because I used this for my main playthrough and I wanted to try something else through this, and I didn't want to have to depend on it. But the cool thing about Blasphemous Blade, if we're in a situation where we need to get health back and we're out of flask and we're traveling through an area where we don't know where the next bonfire is, the cool thing about this sword is every enemy you hit with that will bring health back to you. So any enemy you kill or hit anything, that all comes back to you in health. So that's a good one to have just for those instances where we're out of health flasks and we don't know when the next bonfire is coming. Sacred Relic Sword, I have this on this character just for the fact if we need to farm. If we need to come back and farm, we can easily apply this and switch out this one right here, Radagon's Talg, for I have the Dexterity one right here, and then we'll be able to use that. So I have this if we run into a place where we need to farm for, you know, any type of rune situation, we obviously come over here to the Palace, Palace Approach Ledge Road, and we farm the Albinaurics with obviously the greatest farm in the game. So that's just for that situation. I don't think I'll ever pull this sword out. I mean, maybe I will. Maybe it'll come in handy. You never know. You never know when anything will come in handy. So I have it on this character. We have the Heavy Zoolander on this character for this attack right here. This is an amazing attack to take out like gargoyles and whatnot. For some reason, gargoyles will always get staggered with that, so I don't know if we're going to come across any big gargoyles or anything like that, but just to have it on this character will be nice. Obviously, you know, Rivers of Blood, that's a fantastic one to have just in a pinch. Obviously, you don't want to abuse this weapon. This weapon is something, you know, that can be abused, and I'm not going to abuse it, but for situations where I need it, I want to have it, so I obviously have that leveled up too. Dragon's Blade, that's a good one to have. I have two katanas just in case I want a dual katana. This is a strength build, so I'm not going to get the max out of the dexterity there, but I'll still be able to, I mean, I'll still have plenty of attack power if I wanted to do dual katanas. If we look at more of our great hammers options, we have this option on here. This is another, well, I guess I'm out of FP. If we wanted to look at this, this is one of my favorite spells for just knockdown. This thing is a straight up just awesome knockdown poise breaker, so I have that there. Candle Vessel, I just thought this was a cool weapon. I didn't use it at all in my main playthrough. If there's an instance where I can stand under an enemy and just be able to rack havoc on them, it'd be cool to use. I just want to try it out and see how good it is. Especially, you know, since it's a Faith Strength. Beast Claw Great Hammer, this is a fun weapon. It's not very heavy, which is nice, so you can use it alongside, you know, a greatsword, and you can also pull in Malka's Claw, too, with that. So it's pretty cool. Something I want to try out. This Devourer's Scepter, I've never tried this weapon, so I have it on this character just if I want to try it. Like I said, I don't know how good it's going to work, but thought it looked cool. I was like, I'll try it out maybe. Maybe it'll come in handy in the DLC. And then obviously we have some big hammers with us. So for our big hammers, we have Prelate's Charge on here. If we need to get through anything, any enemies, we can plow right through them. We have that situation all handled. We have a bonk here. If we're ever in a place where we need to endure a lot of damage, I have this set up so that I can just, boom, endure. This is just a fun weapon to have. Giza's Wheel, if there's anything that we ever need to cut down, I don't know, any enemies that are weak to bleed, we have this option available too. I have an instance for anything. I don't know when I'm going to come across. Axe of Godfrey, I just love this Ash of War on here. Plus I needed a big axe too for this character. I wanted to have something. Obviously we can't have this and a great sword, but you get the point. I just love this Ash of War. And when you double tap it then with the other, boom. It's just a banger, man. It's just a banger. And then let's see here. I do have a couple spear options, just in case that there are some enemies that are very fast and we need to just poke them. This also has a great Ash of War, obviously, too. That's just a fun one to use. Thought that might be useful. And a Bike Spear, this is for if I want to use Frenzy on anything. I have the option to. And all these weapons are level up too, obviously. I mean, Bike Spear, we're getting about with our buffs, we'll be getting 750 damage, somewhere in there, per strike, which is really good for a spear. And then Heavy Knight's Rider Glaive, if we're up against any giants, I have Giant's Hunt on this, so I can, you know, stagger any good giants. I do have a couple scythe options here, just in case that we need to, you know, use Stormcaller. I think this is an amazing weapon for Stormcaller. This is just awesome, puts bleed on them and everything. That's just a nice option to have. And I have Wing Scythe on here just because I had it on my main character before, and you never know, maybe this Ash of War will come in handy. It is nice when you can jump in the air and change your direction last minute, so that's kind of nice. It's a good against, and it's good a bit against NPC invaders. So, and obviously we have Bloodhound's Claw, just in case we need to get around fast. We can easily just have that option too. So I'm just thinking of basically when I put this character together, what might I possibly need? I have Jar Cannon on this character if we need this. I have this Beast Repellent Torch just in case we come across dinosaurs or anything that need to be repelled. And Sentry's Torch just in case they're Black Flame Knights. Black Flame Knights cannot become invisible around the Sentry Torch, so that's just good to have on that. Couple shields here I have. Gilded Magic Iron Shield I have Carrion Retaliation on just in case we need to parry anything here. With that, I have the Golden Parry on this option, if just in case it's a something like a spear. This works better to parry spears. And a couple other shields. We have the Heavy Turtle Shell if we need to block a lot of damage. Obviously, we have the Fingerprint Great Shield, but this thing we need to have a Great Rune active to be able to roll with it. So I don't know how viable that will be, depending on Great Runes, how if we can use them or not. Heavy Golden Beast Crest Shield. This one I have Shield Crash on. This is an amazing shield. I used this in the walkthrough when I did the walkthrough for this game. This is just an amazing shield that blocks all physical damage. Great magic, fire, lightning, and holy negation. I mean, it's just a great shield. Probably one of my favorite shields in the game. So I have that on there too if we need to use that. But other than that, Talismans, we're using Great Jar's Arsenal, Dragon Crest Great Shield, Chart of Alexander, and this is just what I need for this time. So, for instance, most of the time it's going to be on Radagon's Icon, shortened spellcasting time. And for other things we're carrying with us, obviously a Physic Flask. I use Opaline Bubble Tier and Opaline Hard Tier most times, and then Boiled Crab. I stocked up on Boiled Crab, and greatly boost physical damage negation for a time. This is fantastic to have. With this active and this active, you are basically a tank. You can walk into basically anything with those two active. If you wanted to look at, just to show you how, I mean, how strong that can be, we'll go up here to a testing ground here. So if we wanted to use, let's say, this and this, I just want to show you like how powerful this combination is to be a tank. If you're ever in a situation where you just need to be a tank. See me, butter. Come on, see me, brother. So, obviously, man, this guy usually takes out a lot more damage, and we're just being hit a lot by him, so. And it's still active even. Oh, that didn't reach? Wow. Big bonk. But yeah, that's just an amazing combination for staying strong. Oh, let's see here. What else to cover here? Talked about Great Runes to have them, but don't know if you're going to be able to use them. Talked about the physic. Talked about spells. Talked about the level. Ashes of War. Okay. So Ashes of War. I have a lot on this character. Just because I want to be able to have the options to just whatever I need. So on my quick select, I have Mimic Tier Ashes plus 10. And then I have Great Soul Soldier Ashes plus 10. I just love those 2 ashes. They're some of my favorites. Other ashes we have here, I level all these up just because I want to try some things. You never know. It might be funny to pull out, you know, a bunch of giant rats in the DLC. Obviously, we have some really nice ashes too. The Beastman Soldiers, they're fantastic to have. For our great legendary ashes, you know, I like... honestly, all these are good. I mean, all these ashes are good to have. Olg, Envale. Stormhawk is actually decent too to have with you to take away aggro. Black Knight Tish, obviously. Mimic, you know that. And then I have Dolores Sleeping Arrow Puppet. If I want to put anything to sleep, I can use him. I'm just going to basically be able to call out Pokemon, you know, if I need them. That's basically what I call, you know, these Spirit Ashes. They're kind of like Pokemon. Just kind of cool to have. Like, I summon Envel, I summon Oleg. They're just fun to have. I don't know why people hate on Spirit Ashes. They're just fun to use. I used a lot of my normal playthrough, and I enjoyed it. Like, so, and that's another thing, too. Like, when I do these Souls games, you know, a lot of people are Souls, you know, challenge runners. And I like doing challenges at times, but when my first playthrough for a game, I like to pretend that I'm in the game and I'm trying to get through it and I'm trying to become as powerful as possible. So for me, when I play through these games as a first-time player, I basically immerse myself into them as I want to be the most powerful thing in that world, you know, and that's how I like have fun playing these games. So I don't want to hear comments, you know, that, oh, you're using Spirit Ashes. It's like, if you want to play with Spirit Ashes, that's fine. You know, I think using all the elements of the game is what, you know, Miyazaki intended us to be able to use. So I do not want people saying in the comments for this Let's Play, you know, oh, you're using Spirit Ashes, you're pulling out just ridiculously powerful spells. Yeah, because this is an Elden Lord character going into a brand new world ready to just destroy this world. So I'm going to try to become as powerful as possible. So another thing too, like for other weapons, obviously we're going to run across new weapons in the game. I recommend having some smithing stones to be able to level stuff up, even though I think we'll be able to have the round table hold. I honestly think the round table hold will be open. I know some people are thinking, oh, it's better to be prepared and like have those supplies with us, but I find it hard to believe that they would take away the Table of Lost Grace so we couldn't go back to the round table. I just find that hard to believe. And if I'm wrong, then I'm screwed. Then I don't have any smithing stones. So I might farm some of those up just to be prepared if I want to have some other options for weapons, you know, obviously. So I recommend maybe doing that. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'll have to think about it. I might just take the risk and just hope that we have round table hold open, because technically we should. But other than that, I think that's about it. Obviously, to get into the DLC, we know that we have to beat Moog, and you have to beat Radon. Those are the 2 requirements to get to the DLC. But other than that, I don't think there's too much else to cover. June 21st is when it launches, and June 24th is when the Let's Play goes live. I'm going to be playing all weekend, so I'll have a bunch of episodes ready, and we're going to start with 1 episode a day. Each episode will be 45 minutes to an hour. If I get way ahead, obviously we'll start doing 2 episodes a day, but I am so ready for this. We've waited about over 2 years now for this DLC, and I am ecstatic to see what Miyazaki has planned for us, because I think it's going to be an amazing time. So, hope you guys enjoyed this little guide, or what I'm doing anyway to get ready. You guys can do what you want. This is my plan. This is my approach, and I think this is going to be a fun approach to go through. So, we will see you guys June 24th. It's going to be a good time, guys. See you then. Stay tuned. Much more coming soon.